one bit I would add. One bit I would add to my description. I'm a contrarian by trade. So when everyone zigs, I zag. So when everyone jumps on the AI bandwagon, I choose to remain skeptical. But I'm far from being AI denialist. Just to explain myself.
My reasoning to invite you was that you are as a CEO really experimenting at your company, so we can go the direction of how AI improves the work of software developers, but also how we can use AI to actually improve the processes, how the company work, the people management, and so on. So speculate a little bit about it. From my part, I'm an org design specialist, also a software developer. I use AI in programming, but also to other tasks. I'm also interested in topics like using AI on management. So, for example, really inspired by the things they do at Tesla, where they move the decision making for AI. But also I'm curious about how this will impact the people part and the human and empathy part. So here we are on the Scrum org, it's not Scrum org, sorry, Scrum Barcelona meetup. So we want also to a little bit reflect on Scrum here, but whenever direction we go, we can go both people, processes, tools, system thinking. So Paweł, I give you the first minutes for the stage on the whole topic, where we would want to start. And then whenever everyone wants to join and challenge Paweł or me, feel free to turn your camera and comment and challenge.
So I would probably start with actually asking a question, an open-ended question. And let me start with the theme of the group, which is Scrum Barcelona. What do Scrum Masters do? I mean, at the core. And then I'm asking a genuine question. I've never been a Scrum Master myself. Even though our teams every now and then are using Scrum, it's probably not the framework of our choice. So what does a Scrum Master do, like at the core of their job? And I would love to hear your opinions.
Everyone already would join, yeah? Feel free.
Okay, in my opinion, and this is a very discussed question, but in my opinion, Scrum Master works for to be not necessary. I mean, maybe the most important part of the Scrum Master is to empower the team enough and teach the team enough to be unnecessary. For me, maybe that's the core. And the rest is only, well, not, but the core. And maybe this is the most important thing that a Scrum Master, and maybe the target that a Scrum Master like the most, or would like the most. But in the real world, Scrum Master has a lot of work by trying to explain up what does the Scrum means, what does agility means, and down to trying to explain the same thing to make understand all the people that we are in a boat, and maybe you have a work to do, but everything is needed but me. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I do the best explanation, but I guess maybe you can understand me.
No bad answers to that question. I take it. Any more answers? Anyone wants to try theirs?
I will always go the direction that Scrum is just empirical process control, so something that goes into the direction of, so we can have anarchy or defined process control or empirical process control, and Scrum goes the direction of empirical process control. So actually creating a framework for the people to push the decision making downstairs and self-organize, which works best in an environment where people need to take ownership in order to make quick decision, because it's really contextual. So if we have a piano factory, then Scrum wouldn't work so great, and because we just improve how we build the pianos. But if we build products that no one really built ever, then we want to base our company on empirical process control, because it enables quicker alignment. And the Scrum Master job is just to make Scrum some part of the empirical process control you introduce in company work with other processes, whether there are defined processes or also empirical. So
what would be the role of a Scrum Master in that framework, the way you described it?
To make Scrum work for the company.
To make Scrum work. And how does a Scrum Master achieve that?
Yeah, nice question. Yeah. So there are some, I don't want to dive so deep into the topic of Scrum, but the assumption here is that we give that much freedom to the people, so to self-organize, not to self-manage, or like in your company actually to enable holocracy to actually make all the decision making. But he just ensures that they have a framework, so autonomy to make decision on how to deliver the product, but within the boundaries of the process.
Anyone else wants to take a shot?
We have also some text in the chat. Okay, Alex, get well soon. Feel free to join us in Paweł questions, so we can then, if we have the base of what is Scrum and Scrum Master role for us, then go into the AI topic.
Maybe I'm a little bit out of the topic, but since the last month and a half, I'm working as a teacher in a high school, and it's quite between maybe 17th to 14th, something like that. And in one of the classes, I tried to make a little approach to the agility way of thinking. And I said, you don't know, maybe you are not very conscious, but you are my boss. Not I'm not your boss. You are my bosses. But when you come into a class, you cede your leading to me. But you are my bosses because you are interested in the way I can teach you something. And maybe this is the way that some companies don't understand how to make the processes agile, because, well, I'm the boss and I know what you have to do. No, you are the boss, but they know what they have to do. And this is the change of mind that is very, very, very difficult to spread in the companies nowadays, I think.
Any more takers? I want to wrap it up, but I want to have anyone who wants to speak up a chance to share. Okay. So what I picked from those descriptions were things like empowering the team, creating this freedom for people to self-organize, making sure that people have autonomy. Now, how exactly AI is supposed to help us with that?
Alexandra, you put your camera on. Maybe you want to jump right into this challenging question. A really powerful question.
I think it was quite bad idea, make the video camera. But like, if we start from a first question, for me,
Yeah, go ahead.
I will connect with second one.
Mhm.
How I see Scrum Master is the person who observing all group. It's not leader position, it's like observing position. And when you see that point where the team's struggling, in some point you try to solve these problems. And in other side, you person who make connection between like financial marketing, yeah, other part of the company, and you connect like developer. It's like connector, the person who understand management language, who can understand like developer language. How it is can help, yeah, for Scrum Master. Like first idea for me, because like you can have different kind of problem, but like sometimes it's social problem, like it's some conflicts, and you can inspiring looking for different like tactics or methodology, psychological things, etc., etc., because you can have some knowledge, but every time the things changing, that it's like you can inspiring yourself with new things that appear. Like the first idea in my like in my brain that it's appear, like what I will do if I will use an EA.
So what I'm hearing, and it's not really what you would find if you Google, like how AI can help Scrum teams or Scrum Masters. What I'm hearing is that we definitely can use AI as a tool that helps us, to find our answers in a more effective way. So just to go back to Błażej's question, like whether I use AI, I use AI a lot to help me to find reliable sources these days. It's so much better than search. Because it's not yet affected with all the SEO positioning, this kind of things. It will be, I guarantee you that, but not yet there. But it's basically kind of replacing Google search with, I don't know, ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever you use. But the core part of Scrum Master's role, I don't see how to replace it, augment it, even help it with AI. I mean, ultimately, it's a social role. It's a humanistic role. It, as you said, it's like noticing issues, reacting to them contextually, because you wouldn't react to a conflict always with the same pattern in your mind. You'd be aware what kind of people you work with, why that conflict popped up, how to address one person, how to address the other. You would probably fail to filter some of your own biases, perceptions, prejudices, and emotions. And that's all fine because we are people, but it's not something that AI would replace us with. It wouldn't tell us how to address this conflict, how to help people to actually embrace autonomy. Like even in the context that Scrum, designs for, which is not like as broad as what we are trying to do at Lunar. It's just within a team. There are no answers. You can get some generic answers, but you could get them 3 years ago from any presentation from Agile conference or any book about Scrum. The same things, because AI has been fed with exactly those sources. So no wonder why it's giving us the same answers, maybe more efficiently, but it's nothing new.
I don't like the word efficiency because it can mean everything. How I see AI is that AI is knowledge as a service. So basically, from what distinguishes AI from humans, we are great at learning. AI isn't great at learning, but AI, because it's taught on the whole knowledge, even stolen from our the world, it's a great source of knowledge. And recently, because of the addition of the agents, it also is good at reasoning. So we can improve both the way as developers work in the context of knowledge as a service and reasoning as a service. But from the system thinking perspective, actually, if we improve a part of a system, we actually can damage the whole system. So, for example, thanks to AI, developers will generate code faster. What are the consequences if we, in the whole software development process, suddenly start to deliver code faster?
Oh, that's simple.
Yeah,
Assuming that now AI can generate, one person using AI can generate 10 times as much code as they were able before AI. It means that we will generate 10 times as much technical debt as we had several years back. That's
and
kind of obvious.
and why? Okay, I can generate code very, very fast, but what are you doing? I don't know. So this code is it's it's uh, it's it's for nothing. You need to know what you want to do, and the AI mm, mm, doesn't want anything, doesn't decide, because the AI it's only a tool.
It is.
I think maybe I want to share an idea with you. Uh, okay, during a lot of time, the Scrum Master is the guy who makes the statistics and the measures. Okay, I think we all can agree that statistics are only a tool. Well, AI, it's only a tool. Maybe it's a tool to generate more statistics faster, but it's only a tool. And statistics and measures and measurement is only a tool. So,
One thing about AI is that it's I agree it's a tool, but it's as powerful of a tool that we, like, at least in the context of technical work, we haven't seen such a powerful tool yet, and it wasn't so close to our hands to use it. And as much as kind of the general, I'm laughing at the general question, like what developers would do if they get their hands on AI. They would just generate code faster, and they would generate technical debt faster. It's with a tongue in my cheek, because the quality of output is actually measured through the expertise and experience of person who wields a tool, and who understands where the tool is applicable and when it's not. And so for example, one example, if we want to, because like we kind of depart from talking about Scrum, which is fine by me, and we start talking about the context of developers. And I think that the answer to how much AI helps developers today is very different than the question how much AI helps Scrum Masters today. And when we talk about developers, like one good example is like whether you should be okay with developers generating unit tests with AI, using AI. It's pretty good at that. But here's the thing. It will generate tests based on the code as it is right now, not based on the intention, how it should work, but on whatever you feed into AI. And if you understand that, and if you're okay with whatever it will generate, then fine. Totally go for it, because you will not be able to type the unit tests as fast as AI can generate it. Not a friggin' chance. But if you want to validate your intentions, I mean, no AI agent is an expert in your friggin' intentions.
Yeah, you covered a great topic here that I hear a lot from experienced LLM software developers who actually are AI expert for some years. So they share AI is just good at reasoning and generating the most obvious answer, but it's unable to have the intention in mind. So it's great at reviewing your work, giving some suggestions. So doing code review is great. Suggesting unit tests is great, but actually letting him totally write the unit tests, it can fail because it doesn't have the business context, the company context, because it's unable to learn. So this is really great. I see a comment from Dave also that going back to the improvement of software developer, that actually he shared that writing code is rarely the biggest constraint in software development.
It's not rarely. It's never.
It's never.
It's never the constraint. It's like if the typing speed was ever a constraint, we would have thought every single developer typing typing without looking at the keyboard, and we don't. Why? Because typing is not a constraint.
I have a question to you, Paweł. Since you are running a TL organization that is focused on more the human-centric part, although I heard your talk about that being whole at work isn't necessarily something
Don't get me started.
Yeah, but still, you mentioned that the role of Scrum Master is to sense the temperature in the room, and that AI is unable to do this, but maybe because of lack of sensors, maybe because of just, yeah, if it would have cameras and temperature thermometers and voice of the room, maybe it would be enough to gather data and make decision about conflict, or do we need something spiritual? What do you think?
If we want to go like super meta, like we human beings are just atoms. So there is an algorithm that is behind every single of our actions. So maybe in the future, enough sensors that would read our body language, our voice, our behaviors, like everything, can replace the old school empathy and perceptiveness. Maybe. I wouldn't like today, I wouldn't say it's impossible. But we are not even close, not even remotely close. I mean, like anything like really social, I don't see any meaningful progress toward that direction. So I'm like 5 years ago, if you asked me the same question, I would tell you I believe it's impossible. Today, I'm not. I don't believe it's impossible. I believe we may at some point live a life where an algorithm is with enough sensors, is good enough at perceiving all those things because we communicate them. Like the empathy at the very basic level, it's us being able to perceive subconsciously someone else's behaviors through all those like super small signals, like how they move, how they speak, how they behave, how their expressions and this kind of things. Like, yeah, Valentin, you're showing the eyes. The basic test for empathy is called look in the eye test.
Are you
And you see,
looking to somebody who is
see,
talking? Yeah.
you see only the eyes, and you're supposed to figure out the emotion behind the person. And the better someone is at it, the better the better empathy they have. I suck at the test, admittedly. So maybe I don't say it's impossible, but we are not even close.
I have a good news to everyone here is that even if this kind of AI with a lot of sensors was possible today, it was very more expensive than a Scrum Master. So don't worry, It will be very, very, very expensive. We are cheaper.
We'll see. I believe that the one of the unique things about human beings is that how adaptive we are. And it's not to say that artificial intelligence is not, because it beats the hell out of us, given, kind of narrow domain, and those narrow domains are getting broader and broader. But the more physical something is, the further we are from getting, the algorithms and the machines replacing us, and the less algorithmic it can be. Because honestly, LLMs are like really algorithmic. They are guessing the next most probable words that should go into a sentence, and this is how they achieve those like really impressive outcomes, like writing code and giving us the answers and being, a great interlocutor, on all sorts of topics. Just by guessing what's the next word in the set, the next most likely word word in the sentence. So,
Paweł, what do you think? Since now AI is a big thing in action and starting to become a part of every organization, do you think will something change in what defines the most successive organization, or it's the same base and AI is only a tool to get there? Do you think the companies will flip totally that? So, for example, in recent years, we valued adaptivity of the company, so the ability to change direction. Maybe right now it's something else, and will AI help in that?
So when it comes to adaptability and flexibility and adjustment to change, nothing changes. I mean, there is a great talk from Professor Gary Hamel, who says that the pace of change keeps increasing, and it will keep increasing. So the only organizations that are going to survive are those that will be able to adapt, and will be able to adapt at a faster and faster pace. And from that perspective, AI just, it's just the next step. It just sped things up, and we need to adjust. So on this kind of a level, I don't see a fundamental change. I see a change, though, in terms of, well, we need to learn those tools as much. So recently I was in one startup event in Miami, US, and if I got a beer for every time someone said that you won't be replaced by AI, you will be replaced by a person using AI, I will be drunk by early afternoon, like literally. This is kind of this kind of repeated message. And I would say that many people who said that don't really understand like how AI works. But for organizations, some organizations, it is true. So if you are in the business of technology, I just 2 days ago, the most recent report from most recent report from a quarterly report on the state of the startup ecosystem went out, and the percentage of investments quarter to quarter from investments on AI powered startups quarter to quarter, from fourth quarter of 2024 to the first quarter of 2025, went up from 46% to 75%. I mean, like, everyone is throwing money on AI. This is how fast and how much technology is changing. But if you are, for example, in the business of hospitality, I mean, if you are a first contact doctor, if you are running a restaurant, I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
not that much change. So kind of depends. In the technology, we need to be adapting, and laggards will be out of business. I like for around a year ago, I said that the WordPress software development shops will be gone from the business in 2 years. So I still have 1 year to validate whether my guess was right or not. I would say that I'm behind my expectation. Like they're not going. That work is not ending as fast as I thought it would. But if you are doing just generic software development, generic technology work, it's do or die, really.
Let's jump a little bit back to Scrum and Scrum Masters. What do you think? Will some new frameworks evolve? Some new processes, some new approaches be much more like valuable right now because of the technology of AI, or will Scrum still be the most popular in IT? We can also, yeah, and I add a sub comment. So I, for example, see a shift in going back to the old PMP roadmap belief that we can predict everything, project management, and so on. So I'm wondering if this is a reaction of C-level to actually go into that direction because AI enables this, or is it something independent? And how do you see? You especially probably got some access to some chats of other CEOs, so we can only speculate, but you maybe can actually comment on that.
I would be super interested in hearing you for going first. Like, what are your predictions? Because admittedly, I'm not a core part of Scrum community, either in Poland or globally, and I've never been a part of that very community. Scrum was always on kind of on the fringes of whatever was happening in my lean agile world. So I would first kind of return the question to you and the rest of the group.
Well, maybe those who are working as a Scrum Master, something very discussed about this topic is the estimations takes too much time and never enough accurate. Okay, and estimations makes the team discuss a lot of time, argue sometimes, and maybe get angry maybe sometimes, but too much times. Okay, if we delegate the estimations to the AI, it's a cold tool that will take our speed, they'll take our last results and say, okay, this is the estimation. And maybe people needs not to argue, needs not to get angry one with the other. And hello, AI, you have saved maybe 5-8 hours of our time. It's a little bit, a little idea around this topic.
Oh, you don't need AI for it. We have statistical forecasting for decades that does exactly that. And it runs a simple Monte Carlo simulation and just gives you exactly that. And my experience is that basically a linear approximation is typically most often just enough. So we like the applying poker, the biggest waste that Scrum invited to this world. Like, but I know I'm opinionated about that, and I don't want to get too deep into that area. But yeah, estimation, one of my pet peeves.
And maybe if we are using AI, we have something to make responsible of when the estimation is not accurate. Well, we have who I don't know how to say it in English, but you know, it's your fault. Okay, it's your fault, AI. It's not
blame game.
okay. Okay, we have not to argue. It's AI. Oh, it's AI. So don't worry. Maybe I think it's maybe one of the most interesting, in my opinion, most interesting things that we can maybe emphasize the use of the AI inside the Scrum.
Błażej, do you have your thoughts on that topic? Is there anything waiting for us around the corner?
I would ask the question to Alexandra, maybe if she wants to join, and then maybe I can speculate. But would love to also hear Alexandra, as she is so kind to turn on her camera. So why not participate? So if it's okay,
you're discouraging people to have their cameras on. It's like I will turn mine off, so I don't have to answer your questions.
Yeah, whether you are extrovert or introvert, it's the opposite problem. Yeah. But yeah, so Alexander, feel free if you want to answer this question also, and give me time to think for me.
Like, I'm really sorry because it's disconnect. I'm lost the question exactly what was in like what we discussing right now, because I was hearing that he said like
no worries. I also need repeating the question. So Pavel, if you would repeat the question.
Whether there is something, you know, that will replace Scrum in the near future, given that we have, you know, all of the AI powered tools. So that was how I understood the question.
Like, you mean Scrum like technology, or like Scrum Master, like some person?
Scrum as a method / technology, not necessarily like Scrum Master as a role would follow.
And we can make competition with them.
Yeah.
I think like I'm quite agree what you was telling before, because I think it's quite a lot of different point and receiving, like it's human things to observe. And actually I think different kind of Scrum Master will be observe different situation in the group. Possibly they will feel in different states of the group, that it can be problem that in the future, I think it's impossible that they can feel it, all these points, all this connection. And like from my point of view, it's Scrum Master, it's not technical position, it's more human position. That it's make it's very good tool, but it's technical tool that give you knowledges. You can like see that like dictionary and all this stuff. If you would like to find information, like I said before, it's like for inspiring to have new ideas, but that what we said before, it's very expensive that you see the temperature, like tone of the voice, and it's not always in the meeting, because sometimes you have some information about different department that how they will know about that. This is like a lot of point that this person observing and receiving. And honestly, I think if you put like 5 Scrum Master in the same group, all of them will feel in different things, that thinking that we need, if it's not very obvious, yeah, like they will find different points, the changes we need depend of way they're thinking about, like about your values. You possibly will prioritize one things. Well, in the end, possibly like it will be the same things that you can solve it, but prioritizing, possibly different Scrum Master will prioritize in different way that AI normally will say one way, you know, like
as the way Scrum Masters are not tools. Scrum Masters are not perfect. Scrum Masters are different. Each Scrum Master is different because we are people. If we were a tool, every Scrum Master in each team will do the same. It will take the same decisions to the same situation, but we are not tools, so we have different appreciations of different evaluations in a team, in the maturity of a team, something like that.
If I would go this direction with the question, so Scrum is based on self-organizing teams that deliver end-to-end features or even work on product delivering end-to-end. And AI actually supports the teams in actually figure out what to do next, because it can provide knowledge and answers about the domain of a product, but also about in general software development and competition. So making decision and learning is enabled much more faster. So we can decouple the teams. So for example, instead of having multiple component teams that we need experts in each component team to handle those components, AI actually enables knowledge that no expert people can work on specialized components. So we can move away from domain groups, component groups, into cross-functional, cross-component feature teams, where actually Scrum strives, and where we base on the ability people to learn and to figure out how to solve the problems. So especially at scale, I think Scrum will be more necessary than ever with AI, because the companies that have the fastest lead time and flow are the companies where teams can deliver end-to-end features and then there have no dependencies. So in this context, I think it's one of the greatest empirical process that enable to deliver end-to-end features. So this is the powerful side of the Scrum. Regarding Scrum Masters, I'm actually also surprised about the ability of AI to actually react on situations. So already we have some signals that AI is better than psychologists in actually talking with patients. Although it was a huge study I'm referring to, but it was more on a text-based exchange. But we can already see that AI won't be responding with aggression. So, for example, a Scrum Master is like Valentin says, only a human react differently to different situation, can be challenged with his or her ego, so can be aggressive, passive aggressive, and AI won't be. The question is, will be the software developers actually? So yeah, is only the valid response the only thing that is necessary, or we actually want human beings? So what as an employee, as a software developer, do I need? Do I prefer a human being but fragile, or do I prefer a superb manager that is totally empathic for me, but it's only an AI? What do you think?
Oh, I think that you went too far. Like if we had that super, like artificial super empathic manager, then well, let's consider the question, but we don't. And I don't say that we won't. I just say that it's not around the corner. So for me, I don't need to worry about me being replaced in another context. Obviously, I'm not a Scrum Master, but I'm also a leader. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about being replaced by an AI agent. But coming back to the original question, I have a contrarian view on why Scrum is here to stay and for long. I don't say that for good, like for 3 decades ahead, but for years, most definitely. It's not about what kind of value we or our teams get because they got from unorganized work to Scrum teams, or kind of old school waterfallish organization to cross-functional feature teams that are able to deliver more effectively. Scrum, in the whole agile world, Scrum is by far the most effective certification scheme that we've seen. there's no competitor remotely close to that. I mean, like, I understand that there are two organizations, playing with Scrum, and I just don't want to play antagonisms. I don't know who is Scrum.org and who is the other Scrum. I don't remember what that was. Scrum Alliance, I think. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, the founding father, like the conflict between the founding fathers of Scrum. The thing is, it's by far the most successful certification scheme that we've seen in the whole broadly understood work organization / project management world. PMP not even close, and I'm referring to the old examples. PMP not even close, Prince2, who even remembers about that? Lean, Six Sigma, like what the hell is that? You could go like all the examples, nothing was remotely close to what we have with Scrum. And because how big of a business is behind it, it will make sure that your jobs are still there for several years to come, because there are too many people who are way too much invested to make that happen. And if AI starts, changing that environment, what those people and those organizations would do, they will start adjusting. And I think that as much as I don't think that Scrum is the state of the art in terms of the work organization. I mean, ultimately, it was invented more than a quarter century ago. It's not novel. It's kind of yesterday's news. It was yesterday's news, like the day before yesterday. But it's still the prevalent method to organize teams. Why? Because how popular it is. And I don't see. I mean, there are approaches like who knows what Shape Up is? Anyone heard of Shape Up? This is basically some inspiration taken from Scrum, some inspiration taken from Lean Startup, labeled by Basecamp folks, sold us the next thing to the next thing that we will use to organize the work in our product development work. I mean, no one heard of it because they are not trying to compete with the whole certification business. I don't want to hear about I don't even remember the name. Unfix. That's the name. Anyone heard Unfix? Jürgen Appello's Management 3.0 repackaged into the next Scrum. I mean, is he going to succeed? I give him, like all the celebrity status that he has, not a frigging chance, not even a contender. Because honestly, there are like so many basically reasonable stuff packaged into Scrum that works well enough for enough teams, but it's not even why Scrum was so successful. It is because the whole certification scheme behind it, and because they were able, the Scrum Alliances of this world, the Scrum.orgs of this world, they were able to scale it to the whole world. So if I see a challenge to Scrum as a method and Scrum Masters as a role, it's what happened when the technology companies started struggling with too much of investments. When they started cutting down the numbers and laying people off, many companies, like including Spotify, fired like all the agile folks, like agile coaches, trainers, whoever they had, because they figured, I mean, we don't need those folks. They are not adding value. I mean, the jury is still out how much, if at all, they will regret that decision. But if I see any kind of threat to the methods, to the jobs of people like you, it's from this kind of big shift of let's just hack our products and it will work. I like, from the technical perspective, I don't see it as a viable strategy just right now. because there is still so much understanding of how to organize product development. But I think that we will be kind of pulling knowledge from different worlds. Like being just a Scrum Master may not be enough. We may be a little bit of Scrum Master, a little bit of lean startup expert, a little bit of team manager, a little bit of team psychologist, and I think that good Scrum Masters are doing that already. Just my perspective on that.
Great. We are reaching the end of today's meetup, so I would like to ask any of participants to propose the last questions for Paweł, because maybe there's some topic we didn't cover. We went from processes through organizational scaling, through trends, through what is the future of Scrum, through to what is actually the market of Scrum, what estimation, empathy. So any additional topics you would like to also add to today's meetup?
Could I ask a little question? It's just as Scrum Master, if you were part of the job accepting someone's position for any of your job positions, sorry, what would you expect from him so to be in alignment with the Agile Scrum methodology? I mean, well, I don't know if you already understood what I wanted to ask, more or less.
So if I were hiring a Scrum Master, what I would expect, what kind of skills I would expect from them? Is that correct?
Yes, from a software developer.
From a software developer or a Scrum Master? A candidate for a software developer role or a Scrum Master role?
For a software developer role, but
Okay.
you as a Scrum Master in...
Oh, okay, I get it.
Okay.
Same things as 5 years ago. Be a decent human being and an excellent teammate. And show your capabilities of learning. I mean, those things don't change. Obviously, the way we would be validating those, some of those things would evolve. I mean, right now, if I weren't able to listen to a coherent argument from a candidate to a software development role, how they are using, AI tools to help them do their job better, that might be a red light. Just in the spirit of this discussion, if they, I don't have a preference toward, one model or the other, but I would like them to be actually understanding what tools they are using, and they're using more than just, a software development environment. But the key part would be just making a huge circle to the very beginning of this meetup. Be very humanistic, be an excellent teammate, and learn your stuff, and you're going to be good, you're going to shine. That was my compass always when hiring for technical roles.
Thank you so much for your answer. Thank you.
Sorry, Pavel, I want to ask you, what do you think about these companies that ask for a Scrum Master with 5 years of experience, and when they get one, the maturity of the organization is too low? It has meaning, something like that makes sense for you?
The best comment on any expectations toward X years of experience is, I saw this tweet. So this company expects 5 years of experience in this very framework. I have only 3, so I'm unqualified. I created that fucking framework. And it was like from someone who basically created something, and there's this fetish of years of experience that organizations mindlessly copy. That we want, as if years of experience kind of were a proof of anything. I mean, you can take, you know, 2 Scrum Masters with 5 years of experience, and one would be a person who basically learned the very basics, and they repeated, you know, the first 3 months of their experience over and over and over and over again. And actually, no matter that they worked for 5 years in the role, in my book, they have 3 months of experience. And then there will be another person who, you know, this is on the steep learning curve, and they invest into, you know, learning what's beyond, you know, the whatever is in Scrum guide, and understanding the role, understanding their context, understanding the product, getting to know their people that they work with, and it would be like absolutely different kind of a person. And then you know, like there may be, so this is my rant on just years of experience, but the fact that you know, like there are companies that are bringing experienced people, and then you see basically a desert. I mean, like there's nothing, or it's not even desert, it's a scrapyard. It's like it's not clean slate, it's a mess. Yeah, those things happens, and I've been there, seen that, done that, and it was some of the greatest experience that I've had. Like just starting with a huge mess and then untangling it step by step. Um, I would be perfectly fine with that. It would be fair, though, if they communicated that explicitly. Having said that, again, if you are that candidate, that you are applying for that position, you will see, and you have, you know, you have your experience, you will see the early signs that how much mess is there. And again, the same, by the way, is true for us when we're working with the code. We've seen some like really crappy legacy code bases. And as long as we have a common shared understanding that we are there to improve the things and we will support each other in that effort, I'm good. So I would say exactly the same is true for anyone kind of process related, people related. We can start at a really low point as long as we both agree that we want to improve and we will be supporting each other in that effort. I'm good.
Maybe do you think that maybe the key word is sorry, my English. Commitment.
Commitment, but also commitment, yes. But before commitment, you need to have shared understanding, which implies transparency and healthy degree of honesty. I don't expect, you know, like any hiring organization to be like entirely transparent and entirely honest. I know that not every company is similar logic. I actually sometimes discourage people to join us because, you know, I don't think that they fit the culture, and I would be very transparent about that. But a healthy degree of honesty and transparency has to be there, and it's there. You can have a shared understanding, and if you have a shared understanding, you can agree upon what you are trying to achieve. Thus, commitment. So yeah.
I like very much your answer. Thank you.
Amazing comment. What I see is sometimes the difference how companies approach Scrum in Spain and, for example, in Poland. In Spain, the Scrum Master are more expected to work as business as usual, whether in Poland they're expected to improve actually the organization, which is actually nicer. So here in Spain, we often have the challenge that they hire us. We see that something is bullshit, but if we actually address this proactively, it's not seen so great as, for example, in countries like Poland.
I would be far from generalizing. I know exactly the stories that you mentioned from Polish companies. Actually, Polish companies and Polish branches of American companies alike. That actually people in the Scrum Master role have been fired because they were trying to make things better, like literally because of that. So
Yeah,
so
yeah, it was amazing.
there are companies and companies. I don't know anything about that part of the of the community in Spain, so I trust your judgment. But I would be far from looking at Poland or US through
Yeah, you're right.
rosy glasses.
Yeah. Okay, we are running to the end, so I'm really happy about this event. I enjoyed it a lot. Paweł, thank you for joining. Alex, please get better. I was looking forward to have you on board for this meeting. We jumped straightforward into Beyond Scrum with AI, where AI is so deep, hot topic. So we for sure didn't cover everything. But thank you really much for engaging in the discussion. Before you leave, just say what did you like about this meeting or how we can improve, and we can wrap it up. Including you, Paweł.
Thank you.
I can just
Thanks a
thank you
lot.
for. Sorry,
Thanks
go
a
ahead,
lot,
Anton.
both. Sorry, and every people. Thank you. It was very nice. Nice meeting. Thank you.
I can just say thank you for having me, Błażej. Alex, get better. I just heard how much time you will be recovering. Just get better, and thank you everyone for joining and spending this afternoon together.
And from my part, thank you very much. And it was quite inspiring for me because I'm not from IT. I would like to use Scrum for other sectors, other areas. And it was very inspiring to see somebody from IT that value humanity, that it's put like the one of the first things in decisions. And for me, it's very inspiring. I was expecting quite different thing. Thank you.
Anyone else? I put Paweł LinkedIn in the comments. Feel free to reach out to him. Again, he's running a teal organization, so really human-oriented. He's really experimenting, so done a lot of things, many fuck-ups, many successes. Also follow his videos and posts. I'm a fan of Paweł. Thank you for this afternoon. Happy to see you in the future. And again, Alex, get well and see you soon in future Scrum Barcelona meetings. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.